Hello and welcome to today's Maggie Moment. Today I'd like to talk about how do we give news, particularly tragic or difficult news, to children, especially when it's sudden and unexpected. This is a really big, tough one, and I know lots of parents would prefer not to share this news with their children, but what we know is the best person to share really painful news is the people who are closest to you, who love you. So that is your job as a parent. The very first thing we need to know is make sure that we're, whatever age we're talking to our children, that we don't give them too much information. So really picking a time. I often find that immediately after school is not a good time. Just before they leave for school is also not a good time. So I'd actually wait. And once we've got some space, make sure if you've got boys, they've had something to eat so they're not distracted by being hungry. And then we actually call our children into the lounge room or something and say, we've got some really sad news to tell you today. And that already prepares our children for this is what happens if we do have sad news in our family. We come in here together, we sit down closely, and if it's mum or it's dad or both of you together, you're the people that are going to deliver the news. The reason we need you to do it again is that children will hear this. They do hear things from other people, sometimes other children, and they can get really frightened because they're at the moment of reacting to the news, you're not there to comfort them. So if it's a sudden death and a tragic death, particularly a death by suicide, that's going to be even harder for our children and harder for you. So once again, rally some energy. I really recommend you get yourself grounded before you do this. What does that mean? It means go for a quick walk around outside, get some fresh air in, get some fluid into you so that you're as balanced and grounded as possible to give this, to hold the space so you don't collapse into the shock and the grief as well. And then once again, you know your children. You know which one is going to probably do best by being close to you. So that's your more sensitive child. Often we find rooster children, both girls and boys, can quite often, immediately they hear the news, run away into their bedroom. Completely normal reaction. So once again, we give them the details. I need to let you some really sad news that Uncle James is no longer with us. He has died. Very important to use the word dead or died, not passing over, not God has come and got him, and not gone to sleep. They can be very confusing for children, particularly up to 5 or 6. Dead or died. And then pause, because they've got to work out what the heck does that mean. And you'll notice immediately your children are those who have an understanding around death, where there will be some tears. Sometimes they'll just throw themselves into your arms because it's just too big a thing for them to understand. And that's about all you need to do. Let them ask the question if they have any questions, and just let them know this is going to be a really sad time for our family, but we're all here together, and that sometimes we will need different things to be able to cope with this sad time. So it's going to hurt in our heart, and it's going to make us feel really, really sometimes angry, sometimes sad. That's okay. You will sometimes see mummy and daddy crying or feeling really sad. That's also okay. And you can help us with our big ugly feelings because we're going to help them with you as well. In time, we will know some details about where we go to celebrate Uncle James's life, where we're going to go and farewell his body. But at the moment, we don't have that information yet. And when we do, we will let you know. So can we all just once again, I probably need a hug right now. Can we do a family hug or whatever you feel? But can we just hold ourselves right now? Because sometimes bad things can happen to good people. And we just have to be strong together so that we can get through this. And one day our heart will stop hurting. So I hope that helps you with that big ugly moment that can happen in anyone's life when we lose somebody we love very, very dearly, regardless of what has happened, but particularly suddenly with no preparation. If that is helpful for you, or you know anybody else is going through something very similar to this, feel free to share this. And also know that on my website, I have a whole section around grief and loss that can give more strategies around families. And there's a whole particular section for adolescents who grieve very differently. That's all from me today.